Good morning, traders. Today is Tuesday, January 17th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. Well, why not start the day all the way zoomed out, looking at the daily? A lot of information here. We have a downtrend that we've been stuck on since the all-time highs. As of now, at this moment, the market is working its way through that downtrend sideways, right? It's just grinding its way through. That is one way that a market can break out of a large downtrend, is just by going sideways right through it and then looking to break higher from there. The other alternative way that a market will often break out of a downtrend like this is it'll have a very large move to the upside, come back down, and then turn that into support. And then that support is the trigger for the larger move higher from there. So that's sort of the question of the day today. What is the market doing here? Did we poke through this resistance to go sideways? Did we poke through to break higher? Or did we poke through just to fail and pull right back down? That's what we're thinking about this morning, moving into this week. So now let's zoom in to the market profile chart and see what we have there. So we're basically just going to ignore this trade here. Basically just pretend that this is one big overnight market. So essentially, on Friday last week, we pushed the market higher. We created momentum. And at the end of the day, we closed with a spike up. A spike up is a sign that the market wants to continue higher. It's a sign that we still have momentum in the market. So the way we think about the open the next day, the way we use that spike is we assume if we open inside the spike. Sorry, my coffee maker is making a lot of noise in the background. Chill out, bro. Just make your coffee. Relax. If we open inside the spike, that is bullish because that is telling us that the market still has that momentum to the upside. If it opens above the spike, that is the most bullish. But of course, it's not going to do that this morning. And if it opens below the spike, well, it means that we take away that bullish signal. But as of today, we are opening inside the spike. There it is. So opening inside the previous day's range increases the odds of chop. That is the market grinding up and down this morning, looking to pick a direction before it makes a bigger move. As far as the chop is concerned, we are looking for support first here at the base of the spike I was just talking about. So that's at 40.12. So that's the first place we'll be looking for support on the downside. And then the second place is the base of the single prints up at 4,003. You can see that is where the overnight found support. So we will be also looking for support now in the regular trading hours. If they cannot find support there at the base of those I period single prints, then we would look for the market to start to head lower. But support anywhere above there, we assume is bullish. Okay. And then as far as to the upside, the first target is getting above yesterday's high. It looks like they're going for it right now. Can they do it? Can they get above yesterday's high? If so, can they bring in some new buyers to test that overnight high up there around 4,028? And then if they can find new buyers up there, we look for continuation higher, right? The spike tells us the market is still bullish. So if we can get above the overnight high, we should be bullish with the market. In between those two, so in between the support here, and it's not really resistance, but the idea of a look above and fail here, in between this area, it's just a chop zone. So the market could go up and down and drive us absolutely mad. But once it breaks one way or another, either getting a continuation of the momentum, which would be bullish, or that momentum breaking, which would be bearish. As long as we're in the middle, it's just going to chop. And your guess is as good as mine. Chop zone. Chop it up. If you have not yet, please smash that like button. Also smash that subscribe and that notification bell. Only going to be doing these daily live streams for another 2 weeks. So after that, you're going to need that notification bell to find out when I go live. There you have it, folks. Drew you a roadmap. Literally put the arrows on the screen. Areas that I'm looking for support below for the market to find buyers, turn around and chop back up. And like I said, it wouldn't be correct to call it resistance above. Because we opened in yesterday's spike, which is bullish, it's not really resistance above. It's more of like just a question. Can we keep going? So if we poke up above yesterday's high, can we keep going to the overnight high? If we get above the overnight high, can we keep going? So I wouldn't really call it traditional resistance. I would just say, do we get new buyers up there? But down here, this is good old-fashioned support. Do we get buyers down here? John says, arrow game on point today. What up? You heard? Shit's on point. Charles, how do you know this? You know, you're up here, you're drawing these pictures, you're sticking these arrows up here, you're talking about what you think the market's going to do. How do you know? Well, it's all a matter of probabilities. I know the probabilities of opening inside the previous day's spike. I know that tells me that there's a very good chance the market wants to go higher today. But because we opened inside the previous day's range, that we're not ready quite yet. And that's what CHOP is for. It gives the buyers time to accumulate a position. So here we go, testing that support, 40.12. That was the signal that the buyers wanted to continue to take the market higher on Friday. Can they hold that level now? Man, that low remains weak. That's a computer. Oh, there it is. That's an iceberg. And that's why they do it. To get themselves 500 contracts long by eating up 90 stops. 90 of those contracts were somebody else getting squeezed. All right, so testing the first support here. Base of the spike up from yesterday. Can it hold? If the base of the spike holds, the next question we ask ourselves is, does the halfback, whoops, there it goes, act as resistance? Okay. So with the chop zone, if we're going to head lower, the halfback should now act as resistance. 40.17. If they pass right back up through it, the chop will continue. Oop, I stand corrected. No support at the base of the spike. Tom, 2 more likes for 69. Isn't it sad that we have to ask to get 69? But guys, please, can we get some? There it is. Oh, nope, we went too hard. We burst it. All right, here's that test to halfback. Does it hold as resistance? If it holds here, it'll head down to test the lows again. If it breaks through, the chop will continue. And we broke on through. The chop continues. The $6 million man. The new 69 is 96 due to inflation. Does it work the same? Feels like that changes the way. Anyway. Screwball says it's support around the base of the spike. Yeah, it's chop, my friend. This is one of those times experience has taught me, don't trust it. I got to see what I got to see, which is I got to see us first, find support or resistance at the halfback and then break one end or the other. Otherwise, you can't trust any of it. It can look like they're making support at the base of the spike, chop up, and then chop right back down. So we got to just let them chop it up. We'll know when they're done. Once they've picked a direction, we'll be there. We'll be ready. Al says today might be a balanced day. It's certainly possible. As I've said, one way the market it just is a habit that it does sometimes. The way it works its way through resistance is it just kind of goes sideways through it. So I'm not saying that's impossible, but last week was a humongous change in the market. What you guys have to understand is we spent a lot of time going sideways. Okay. We tried to break the market higher and we could not do it. And then we took the market way back down. What did we do once we took the market way back down? We spent like 2 weeks debating which way we wanted to break. From the moment we broke out, this market has been totally different than it has been for the last year and a half. A new behavior entered the market last week. And those of you that follow me all day, every day, heard me talking about it. This is so strange. Each day last week was basically a balancing day, basically a day where we would go up and down in a range, but always, every time, in such a way that we would push higher, build new buyers, push higher, new buyers, push higher, new buyers. Next day, have a liquidation back down, but then push higher, new buyers, push higher, new buyers, push higher, new buyers. And slowly but surely, and it was weird. It was just kind of unusual. We haven't seen days like that in a long time. And so then all of a sudden, we had this crazy V-shaped recovery on Friday. When was the last time we saw one of those? Well, that's some bull market shit right there. We haven't seen one of those in a while, right? Those normally fail in this bear market. So make no mistake, something happened last week. Something changed. Spending, the failure to get higher, trying to go lower, the failure to get lower, spending the 2 weeks balancing has brought a change in the market. Now, all that change has done so far is test this stronger downtrend of resistance. We could still get smacked down from here. But it should not be ignored that the behavior of the market over the last week has fundamentally changed. It has become a market where slowly but surely we are bringing in more and more and more buyers. That is bullish to see. So while a rotational day sideways is certainly possible, I think it's not the highest probability. I think a trend day to the upside is. But not until we break out of the chop zone. Michael said, I am convinced it'll get slapped down. I just don't know exactly when it will happen, one day at a time. Yeah, the one day at a time is the key part of that statement. What kind of a trader are you? Are you a day trader? Are you trading on a day time frame? Then who cares what could happen in the future? All that matters is what the market is telling us today. On Friday, it told us with the spike up, it had momentum. It wanted to keep going up. This morning, we opened inside that spike. We brought in buyers, and now we're testing yesterday's high. So on a day time frame, those are the signals. But speaking of pullbacks, you know it needs a pullback. Bitcoin. Holy moly. Did you guys see what happened to Bitcoin over the weekend? Look at that. Pachoo! This is unhealthy. This literally nonstop momentum every single day with no pullback. This is what, if you've ever studied hyperwave theory, this is what a hyperwave looks like on the daily for Bitcoin. So this thing could pop. I mean, this thing could go up and test, 22, but it's got to come back down. But the ES is a very different market. The ES has been going sideways for a very long time. Scoopball says, I missed support at the halfback. Well, let's see if we'll test it again. They just keep chopping it up. Yes, sir. That was support at the halfback. Can they hold it? 40.16. If so, they could try to break the high. Michael S. says, sideways, aka consolidation, typically precedes a big move one way or the other. The longer the chop, the bigger the move is expected to be. I concur, sir. I concur. You got two sides, the buyers and the sellers, and they are playing tug of war with one another right now. And at some moment, one side is going to give up, and they're going to let go of that rope. And the other side is going to go a-flying. They're going to chew up all those stops, and then the momentum will begin. But apparently not yet. All right, so we got support at the halfback. They have the juice to head up and test the high. So the first question is, can they get above Friday's high at 40.2450? If they get above there, what happens? Do they just poke and immediately pull right back down? Or do they bring in new buyers up here? We got the first signal that the chop may be over with the support, the next signal would be new buyers up here. Okay, so now the A period high is considered weak because they stopped a tick away from yesterday's high. Increasing the odds. They need another poke. There's more liquidity waiting up there. Chilling with Dylan says 4020 is now a volume shelf. I'm not sure what volume shelf means. I assume you're talking about that big node right there and how they flipped the order books, and that you mean that it will act as support. And if so, I concur. If not, then you're wrong. Very interesting. The chop continues. They pulled you up just to pull you back down. So you see how the bots that are piling on now are sellers. So they created that weak high just to get your stops up there. Now they're going to take the market down to squeeze all the buyers, take out their stops, and then they'll come back up and they'll take out those seller stops that they just built up at that weak high. So this is bot chop. Computer chop, take your money and run. All right, so we're back at halfback. Can it act as support? Once again. It looks to me like the computers are trying to use halfback to get you to buy here, but they are still building up short positions. So they're probably coming back down here to test the lows. This is a chop zone, folks. Trade at your own risk. The game is afoot. So again, I want to just talk you through the scenario of this, okay? They pull the market up and they stop one tick before yesterday's high. Why? Why did they stop there? Because then if you saw that resistance and you looked to get short somewhere in here, boom, they stop it, it starts going down. You look to get short somewhere in here. For example, right now, where are you putting your stop? Well, you're putting your stop right there above that A period high, right there above yesterday's high. And so what do they got waiting for you when the market pushes its way up there? They got another iceberg just waiting because they want to do it again. They want to push up there. They want to make another week high. Here they go. And then bounce it off of there and get even more stops above. Oh. Okay, moment of truth. That was the look above and fail of the overnight range. Did we quite make it, or is it still weak? Oh, no, the high is weak once again. So I still see this as chop. They don't have the momentum yet. All right, so now every signal I'm looking for to get bullish has been triggered. All I need now is new buyers up here. I just need the market to find support literally anywhere up here. And I am bullish for continuation. But I do need to see the support first. All right, new buyers at the high. I'm bullish. Better late than never. So we opened inside a spike up from yesterday. That's bullish. We now have a trend on the daily, which is bullish. We have pushed above the overnight high and found new buyers, which is bullish. So I think we have ourselves the very beginning of a potential trend day to the upside. Monitoring for continuation. All right, testing the support at the overnight high. There were new buyers up here before. Are there still? Can they hold it? Scooball says that was news related, that pop up. Do tell, what was the news? Canadian CPI year over year is actually 6.3, but they forecasted 6.4. Boom. 10 points. All right, they're holding that overnight high. So if the support breaks here, I don't think it will. It feels like it's holding. But if the support at the overnight high breaks here, I will remain bullish as long as we are above the opening price. Opening in the spike, creating a higher high and a higher low, and making value completely higher than Friday is a sign that the market has momentum to the upside. So just because we don't have quite enough buyers yet is not a reason to get bearish. So I remain bullish above that opening price. Dude, we've reached computer versus computer, iceberg versus iceberg. Someone with size trading against someone with size. One of them thinks it's going to go up and one of them thinks it's going to go down. One of them is fixing to be wrong and get squeezed. $135, $135, $135, $135. Where do you think it's going to stop? 135? We're at 89. We're at 90. 135. There it is. Another one. All right. Well, once we get through, of course, they've got another iceberg waiting at the high to create a weak reference up here. But as soon as we break through it, there should be some stops. We should get a little short covering to the upside. Armandos asks, what does the red line with 52 running across mean? That is an iceberg. So that is a computer which is planning to sell right at that level. We don't know how much of size they've got waiting to sell. That's the thing about an iceberg. So the same way you would think about like an iceberg on the ocean, you know, it's like the ocean's level, you only see a tiny bit at the top, but there's a big old iceberg below the water. Well, we've only seen so far that they've traded 52 contracts, but there could be, you know, they could be trying to trade 135. That's what they've been doing over and over. You know, they might be planning on trading a lot more. So the computer just puts that line there so that we can see where they've been, where that iceberg is waiting. And then we have to wait till we get there to see how big it is. All right, so we're back at the overnight high once again, testing the support. Can they hold it? It's the exact same game they used all last week. Push the market higher and just slowly but surely bring in more buyers to the upside. Mark says someone did a block of 4,000 contracts. 4,000 times 200K is a lot of cake. Yeah, I mean, what will really blow your mind is that was probably a computer which chose to buy those futures contracts as a hedge against whatever that market maker is actually selling in the options market. So it's like, if you think that position in the futures market was big, wait till you find out, how many, put call or Jesus Christ, how many puts they sold in Apple just now or whatever. Then you start finding out about mind-boggling numbers. Man, all right. Well, the support being tested once again. So this is that tug of war we talk about all the time, where one side is poking at the other. Okay? You've literally got the buyers and the sellers. They're stuck right here. And the buyers are trying to push up and the sellers are trying to push down, and they're fighting against each other. We don't know which side is going to win, but one side is getting stronger and stronger. And it's poking at the whatever, whether it's the buyers or sellers, the other side is getting weaker and weaker. And it's getting ready to break one way or to other. All the other market generated information says the highest probability is a break to the upside. Let's take a look at the ticks. If they're going to break to the upside, they should be holding that zero line. They are holding it. Can the buyers break on through the high and get a short squeeze? Stay tuned to see. Nope, that's not enough. There's definitely a lot more stops. 130 won't do it. More. All right, here we go. We've had, almost 30,000 contracts trade above the overnight high here. So far, I've only taken out 130 stops. There's a lot more stops up here. So we should start getting some short covering any minute now. Got another week high. Yeah, so this area around 4036 is very, very strong resistance. It was a previous balance area high. So it would make sense it's going to take some grind to punch through. But one might consider the fact that momentum is to the upside. Spike up, opened in spike, pushed above overnight high, found support, bullish, 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 bullish. And above, one big node of resistance, and then magnet, magnet, magnet to tug on price. So bullish, 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 neutral to bearish, bullish, bullish, bullish. You do with that what you will. All right, guys. Well, that is it. We are printing the C period, which means I'm out of here. Goodbye to all of you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. As far as where I would leave it here today, I am still bullish, as I've said. As long as we remain above the opening price, above 40.17, I remain bullish. Where exactly the market will find support to break higher, I do not know. I feel like it's going to be right here at the overnight high, but we've been testing it and testing it and testing it, so it is getting weaker every time we poke at it. So now there are two more supports beneath. The first is the base of the single prints we left behind in the B period. That is 40.24 for potential support there. We're then around here at the overnight high, 40.20. That is the next support below there. As long as those hold, every signal I see tells me this market wants to keep going higher. So I will remain bullish. Just because they're not ready to do it instantly doesn't mean that that's not the plan of the day. But if we break back below that opening price, that will change things. And I'd be back to neutral and even bearish if we broke that A period low. So let's wait and see what happens. I remain bullish if that support holds. With that, I say goodbye, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Thanks a lot. Have a good one. Members of the brigade, let's set sail on the private stream.